Hey friends, we are live on the SideQuest, your weekly journey into the beautiful, wonderful, fantastic world of video games. I am one of your lovely hosts. I don't know if I'm lovely, but I'm one of your hosts, Dolly Dimofsky, joining me as usual to my left, your right, the one, the only JJ Holder.
Yeah, it's JJ. I promise I will not start a fight behind the curtains before this podcast gets underway.
Again.
Again.
You should use real glass. And the person below us, Taylor Bliss. You know, I'm gonna do the honors and
We'll
Taylor up to the top.
We'll eventually be Taylor. Yeah,
we'll eventually be Taylor. He
will
was
eventually
coming back
be Taylor. Yeah.
and knocked everything over. All I hear is after he went to go grab a drink, he came back. I just hear just crashing everywhere. And he's like, I gotta pick some stuff up. I'll be right back. Good times, bad. Good guy. Hey Jage,
there he is.
How's it doing?
Oh, it's doing, man. Hey Taylor, how's it going?
Hey Taylor, how's it doing?
Oh, it's great. Things are good. I'm having a great time.
You're having a great time, yeah?
With everything. Nothing bad is happening.
Nothing at all. Everything's good. Nothing's been knocked over.
No.
Thank God.
Not that I'm aware of. You can ignore the Swiffer in the background.
Why would I want to?
Yeah, I mean that's just there for other reasons, unrelated.
Nothing. Reasons unrelated to knocking stuff over.
Yeah.
Well, good. Well, hey, it's good to have you on, and it's been a couple weeks that you've been on with us, but we will forgive you because you're just a swell gentleman.
I mean, you literally have to because I.
Yeah.
No,
okay, fine.
I have many reasons of why I have not been here, and they are all make me sad. So, yeah.
Yeah. No worries.
There's
well, you're with us
tough
now. Well, hey, life is all over the place, brah. Totally understandable. But we're here together now. It is a fun time. We'll talk a little bit about. There's a few little news bites that I wanted to cover. Then JJ's got some review things, a couple review things that he can cover.
I do.
And I don't know what you. I got one thing that I can show off, but not really review. But I'll wait till the review time. I don't know if you got anything, Taylor, but we can get to that. We can get to that bridge. Cross that bridge.
I got
finally spit it out of my mouth.
I got a quarter review.
Nice.
From way back when. It's not full because I haven't finished it yet, but
okay.
I'm going to talk about my first impressions. So,
all right. Let's start with some news. The big news, and we didn't cover this last week because I think it broke like right after JJ and I recorded, or soon after that.
Yeah.
This news is the kind of the big-ish news, and that's Microsoft Activision deal. Microsoft is selling
this
their.
This feels like it was 3 weeks ago. Already.
Doesn't it really?
I haven't even been on the show, and it still feels like it was a month ago.
So the big news is Ubisoft is your new Xbox streaming home of
Partner.
Xbox streaming.
How did this one happen, by the way?
I don't know.
European company in a nation where
okay, that's fair. That's
problems with European groups. So.
Highly respected European company, Ubisoft.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a really bizarre one to me because, what else is happening here other than like a lease of intellectual property?
Right.
Because it's all going to be Microsoft branded. Or maybe they Ubisoft branded. I don't. But all the tech on the back end is still going to be Microsoft.
Yep.
So all the payments for the hosting of that, this is just weird IP claiming nonsense because
Mhm.
like Microsoft's still going to get like the boatload of the majority of the money because
Yeah.
they're the ones doing all the hosting and all the streaming.
It's basically the cloud gaming rights, as it says here, for all the Activision Blizzard games, which all that really means is Microsoft is still going to get a cut because they are going to own Activision Blizzard, right? They're just
Right.
not going to be. Are they just that they're not handling the streaming and Ubi's going to get a cut of that? I mean, obviously Ubi will get a cut
Yeah.
of that. It helps them, but it's just such a weird. And also consider this: there is no way that you're going to get people playing on whatever Ubisoft service is to cross play with.
Or whatever it is now, yeah.
Yeah, good luck to crossplay against Xbox or PlayStation. not on this
Yeah.
sucker. But yeah, so it's given cloud streaming rights for all current and new active Blizzard games released for PC and console over the next 15 years. It's insane to me. Commercialized license to cloud gaming versions of these titles. So Microsoft will take a one-time payment from Ubisoft for these rights, as well as further compensation through a market-based wholesale pricing mechanism, including an option that supports pricing based on usage. Basically, it's like, yeah, Microsoft got paid is going to be getting paid for this, and they're going to get a cut based on usage. So
I wonder what. God, man, do I want to know what that payment? What's that dollar?
Yeah, right. Sorry, it's in pounds.
I'm curious. Did the news come out recently about the fact that the deal that Sony agreed to was actually the same deal that Microsoft had floated them in the first place? Was that recent or not? I can't remember.
I think that one was 3 weeks ago.
Was it?
But yes, that is exactly it. It was the same deal. Yeah.
It was the same deal, and then it was just like, it just became like the writing ended up being on the wall, and Sony was like, okay, we'll take it.
It's just a bizarre thing, and it's like it's only in the UK. Everywhere else, it's going to be fine.
It's going to be fine there too, honestly.
Eventually. Yeah.
I don't even think eventually. I think even with Ubisoft, it's like, everything else it's just going to be like a little bit of coat of paint. Like Microsoft is probably still going to, under the hood, all the same shit. Honestly, probably over the hood, mostly the same shit with a slightly different coat of paint.
Yeah. No?
If I had to guess.
They win. Microsoft wins out. Now they don't have to worry about marketing the games like Ubisoft.
Yeah, right.
The games they got out of that part, so that's a positive. There is some more. Let's see here. There was more Microsoft news. No, there was actually some Sony news, which I found very interesting. Yeah. And that is, hey, look at that guy. It is the PSP. The PlayStation Portal is official.
The PlayStation Poopy.
The Project Q is now known as the PlayStation Portal, and it's launching for $199. In this.
And
fall.
Guess how many things it doesn't do?
Everything.
I don't know. Maybe I'm such a hater on this thing. God, it's such a piece of poo poo.
It's legitimately a big controller. Now, Sony's controllers right now are like what, $60 or $70, something like that, right?
Yeah.
This just replaces the touchpad with a touch screen. Now, is that worth $130 more? I don't know. I don't know exactly, but now, granted, you can use. So, okay, the Portal is a way for Sony to use their remote play, which means you can log into your PlayStation 5 from anywhere, not just in your home, just anywhere that you have access to some type of Wi-Fi or network. So you can go to, like, I'm going to be in Japan next month for a week or so. I could take this controller with me and play my PS5 games that are home. Granted,
sure you could.
whatever
Big di-
is whatever's
Sure you
already
could.
in the disk drive. I can
It's
say
like
that
you can also do that without this device.
you can also do that. You can do that on your phone and on your laptop and on
Yeah.
your tablet.
Also, do you know what's kind of funny? This device is the exact same price as their DualSense Edge controller.
That's the other point I was going to get to. At that point, it's funny.
Yeah, I
'cause
mean, are we
I
making
initially-
an argument for this being a good deal, or their DualSense Edge controller being a bad deal, or both?
Why not both?
Yeah,
Why not
4K no
both?
los
There you go.
dos.
Yep. It's interesting. Yeah, basically, hope your I made the note. I hope your PS5 is turned on at home, and whatever.
Also, I hope your upload is fucking strong.
Your upload's got to be
Yeah.
strong. Your download, wherever you are, has to be strong. You're like literally
You know
duct
that.
taping that.
But also, like, to
you
your
know
point,
that hotel Wi-Fi is always.
but
perfect.
Dali, to your point about being in Japan, like, you know, as has been shown over many times, as cloud gaming at large has expanded, latency is a huge deal. So, like, going from your house in the States to Japan, I got my doubts.
Yep. No, I completely agree. This is definitely a this is a device for folks who screen share a TV, right? Who have one television in the house and they want to play their PlayStation while their spouse or significant other or other kids or whoever is watching TV.
This is 100% a dad machine. And
this really
the funny
is a
thing
dad
is,
machine.
I don't think either
I'm
dad
writing that
on
down.
this. Well, yeah, but neither dad on this show wants this fucking machine.
Yeah.
So.
It's funny because at first I thought, I could see myself actually playing PlayStation 5 games if I was able to access. And I thought, but it's on Wi-Fi. It's not a proprietary. And I know my Wi-Fi is already chugging with a lot of other apps. Like we are almost exclusively a streaming household for like TVs and stuff. There is no way I could stream like Netflix or Disney Plus or YouTube videos and try to play this and have decent. At that point, I'm just gonna go into the other room and
240p, 30 frames per second.
It's, but you know what? It'll sell to someone.
Yeah.
I will say though.
Will it?
Let me back up.
I mean.
Yeah.
How's
initial sales
the VR2 doing?
That's exactly what I was going to mention, the VR2. Nobody talks about the PSVR2. It doesn't register in the Circana accessories thing at all, which is just wild.
Sony doesn't sell accessories. That's just plain and simple. They've never had a successful attach rate for any of the excess bullshit that they put on, whether it be the eye camera, the Move controllers, VR.
There is somebody at Sony who has free license to make whatever shit that they want, and for some reason they're allowed to keep doing it forever.
Yep.
It's the reason why we have the PSVR 2.
Yeah.
I mean, PSVR 2 attach rates being as high as they are aside, because that's already kind of a surprise. It's so, I don't know. Sony's like accessory attach rate is like an inverse Square Enix software sales rate. Like they have any mild success, we're doing great.
So
it is the VR2 sticks. I never noticed that.
Jake makes a great point. Hi, Jake. Sony is a hardware company, right? They're very much a hardware company there, and I'm guessing we'll see that new PlayStation 5 Slim version announced around TGS as well. But Sony's a hardware company. They can pump this crap out. PSVR could be it is for all intents and purposes is a complete failure. Doesn't move the needle in them. Doesn't affect them. They're gonna pump this thing out. Nobody will buy it. They'll make 50 million of these things. They'll sit on store shelves. It won't bother Sony because a lot of it is just reused parts. They quite literally, it's those sticks. It's the buttons from every PlayStation controller you already have. It's the white it's probably a bunch of Sony Vaio, screens they have sitting around.
I do want to see this thing in person and feel it. I don't want to.
I bet you. Listen, Sony makes some of the best panels out there, so I'm very curious to see what it looks like. It'll probably be way too good for its for its own uses, for its own good.
It'd be fun if it just dumped an OLED, like a 4K OLED on this.
Yeah, I know, right? It's going to be like everybody's going to be out there saying, "Why couldn't this screen be in the Steam Deck, etc., etc." But
again, it's
LCD
it's
classic.
I mentioned it before. I freaking hate this design. It's going to get caught on stuff. You're going to be
the design is miserable.
It is miserable. They could have just filled this shit in, man. Switch does it fine. The Steam Deck does it fine. You just fucking do what works, bro.
I don't get it. I don't get it.
This bezel is. I'm guaranteeing you, this is like a tablet they had.
Like how? Like there's overlapping. This is stress fact.
Yeah.
Go ahead, JJ.
No, this is just the Nintendo 64 controller, by the way. I mean,
the difference is that the plastic and the thickness of the N64 controller is not to be understated in comparison to what this probably is. Yeah. We are going to see stress fractures along where the analog sticks meet the display. 100%. It's gonna happen.
It's like like the Nintendo 64 controller, that's where you wrap the cables that you have on your USB.
That's true. You wrap the cables around there and wrap them around
cables
the screen.
Strengthen
it. Yeah.
I will tell you, there's probably an aftermarket company right now that's thinking, I can make a bumper for this that turns it, makes it look like there's your next 3D print job, JJ, is to make this thing look like a Steam Deck. So. Get a Steam Deck design. I'll help you. We'll enlarge it. Yeah. You can slide this thing in there. It'll look like a Steam Deck. That's actually a Sony.
Send me that STL file. I'll get it going.
There you go. Just so weird. But they just throw stuff out there and whatever. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. They have how many thousands of headsets does Sony have, and they're pumping out 2 more.
First thing, I like stupid tech bullshit, and this does nothing for me.
Me too. Same.
But we also have to remember that at the same time they announced those earbuds that go with this, and like this doesn't have like Bluetooth and shit either. So you bigger you buried the lead on that one, JJ, because it's not that they're launching earbuds with it. Yeah,
it's the fact that the earbuds are the only thing that fucking work with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and that in order for them to work with your existing PS5, if you were already lucky enough to have one of the original ones, you need a dongle for them to work as well, because the hardware that's necessary to run them is only coming in newer models.
Yes. Yeah. The PlayStation Link. It's called. PlayStation has their own Legend of Zelda, the PlayStation Link. So, there you go. It's what it's, man, and it's not great. But we'll see what happens there. Other news I'm going to share. This is monetary news, all right? This one is actually kind of interesting. Epic Game Store is going to trade revenue share for exclusivity window. We see this with like Amazon does it.
I didn't hear this one. Hit me.
Okay, so they have an opt-in. The opt-in first run program basically says you get 100% of the revenue if you say you're exclusive for 6 months for third-party games on the Epic Game Store.
Then you get 100% of the revenue for 6 months?
Yep. The opt-in first-run program will see the storefront pass up its 12% cut. So really, it's just them. They want games on they want exclusives.
They're going for the exclusive gambit.
Yeah. So.
And only 6 months?
It's only 6 months. Yeah, that's an interesting.
I feel like, all right, so hear me out on this, right? You're about to go live on early access on Steam, right? Mm-hmm. Instead, you take what would have been your early access game. It's now your live game on Epic Games.
You
get 100%. And then after 6 months, you launch what would have been your real game anyway, and it goes live on Steam.
My God,
boom.
You have
made
$1 million.
I think I gotta hold on. If you excuse me, I have to go talk to Devolver and a couple other people. I'll be right back.
Our friends
I'll
at
be
New
at-
Blood.
I'll be at PAX this weekend. I'm gonna
There you go.
talk some
Yeah,
people.
sell the idea. Side questing's first racket on the side is our first side
Our
hustle.
side hustle.
Is going to be, hey guys, we're give you a hint on how to make tons of money.
I have to suspect that the contract is going to be very
restrictive. Can't be EA. Can't be.
I got great news. They love it. They think it's a really good idea.
Dr. Devolver said, "Great idea.
Yeah.
Let's go."
They said, "Go for it."
No, it's interesting. It's
no, but for real, on the real sense, there are a lot of not quite AAA games that will gobble this up.
Yep.
You know, the stuff that manages to capture, I guess, like I wanted to say Valheim as an example, except Valheim's a bad example because it is an actual early access game. But things like that captured a lot of pre-release momentum, stuff that will kind of go beyond a storefront blockade, right?
Yeah.
And if you have that kind of momentum, hell yeah, you're gonna like 12% is already pretty enticing compared to Steam's.
Sure.
It's still 30, right? So I'm gonna go for 100.
Yeah.
If I can, yeah. If I got that actual momentum, yeah, absolutely. I think there's been quite a number of pretty successful Epic Games launches over the past three to 5 years.
Saints Row specifically an Epic Games Store. It wasn't like Final Fantasy.
Yeah, let's not use Saints Row as
yeah, well, but I mean,
but but for real, Final Fantasy 7 Remake was.
Yep, which it's a big deal. Yeah, and those types of games
remakes or like,
yeah, there you go,
like HD remakes.
But
well, I mean, feel like that's a good example.
That's a good example of like Sony. It would not surprise me if Sony or Square Enix was going to be like, I'm going to go from 30% to 0% cut for 6 months.
Yep.
So Square Enix and the Final Fantasy franchise has a big enough name to do that. They'll be like, yeah, sure, absolutely, why not? Final Fantasy 7 Remake Part 2. That's going to go. Yeah, absolutely. That's. I would already probably say assume that it's going to go to Epic Games Store for the first 6 months.
I think what's good for that is, I mean, it's not necessarily getting the big games and retaining people for that big game, but it's people will log on there. They'll see that these big games are on, right? They'll see Final Fantasy, and then they'll gravitate towards the other games. Like, that's the whole point. Epic wants these exclusives to feed the other games that are on the platform. So it's not like, hey,
this is all ecosystem building.
It's a whole ecosystem built around it. And I think that, I mean,
it's like when they give you a coupon when you buy something and they just keep giving you another coupon when they're done. It's just
I mean, really they're way past. I think, that as obviously Fortnite is still very popular, so I don't want to make,
I've heard of it.
Beleaguer that. Yeah, I've heard of it. Beleaguer that point. But the draw of Fortnite, I think, has already hit its precipice. So what they're, they have to look past that. They have everybody that they're going to get from the Fortnite angle. That's already done. Now, if they're going to try and make an actual play as a storefront, it's time for whatever's next. So this has probably been in the works for a bit. Once they figure that out.
1.0 coming now.
Yeah, dude, I'm still freaking waiting. I still remember having that conversation with a buddy of mine 6 years ago. Yeah, I can't wait. I'm gonna get it. We're gonna play it. It's gonna be fun.
And then a couple little news bites on Game of the Year contenders. Actually,
all right.
This Game of the Year contender will be coming to Xbox this year. They have struck a deal to get Baldur's Gate 3 onto Xbox. Phil Spencer.
All it did was a quick little carve of an exception. All you have to do is be one of the most popular single player experiences of the year, and you too can sidestep the requirements of feature parity on the Xbox Series S to X.
All you had to do was be the game that has already overshadowed Starfield in a lot of places. PC, and it's coming to PS5, so there's built up momentum there to suddenly get Phil Spencer to change his mind very quick. But yeah, essentially what this means is, so for those that don't know, the reason it was being held back was because Microsoft dictates whatever on the Xbox Series X has to work on the Series S. Really, all your feature content wise has to be content complete across both those. Visually, you understand the difference. Some gameplay controls, sure, but content complete across both. Well, Baldur's Gate, Larian was having issues with the split screen on the Series S version, so that was holding it up. And they said, well, it probably won't come out this year. It's probably going to be sometime next year, if at all, that we get this sucker on there. And then again, yeah, we've seen the hype around Baldur's Gate has been a fever pitch to the point where Microsoft, Phil Spencer himself steps in and said, okay, fine, let's cut a deal here. You can have that split screen removed for the Series S. Just make sure you have it for the Series X and try to work on the Series S split screen at some point.
And for anyone that doesn't know that it's kind of the worst kept secret in the industry that everyone just hates the Series S.
Yes. So yet another, the Series S, which is a fantastic deal, right? It really is a terrific deal. You can
for the consumer.
Well, yeah, I mean, let's for Microsoft, it kept them relevant in the first half to now, arguably of this gen, right? Yeah. Throughout all of the PS5 kerfuffle and hype that it had, the Series S and its accessibility is what kept them in the game. So it's understandable that Microsoft took that angle of trying to say feature parity. It has to be playable. All the stuff has to be, the experience has to be the same across both, because that was the selling point. It's just that there are certain blockbuster games that will break it.
Yep.
This is one of them.
And I mean, the Series S has like you said, it's been the shining star in Microsoft's world, because that is what you constantly see for sale under $250, $240, $230. It's a $300 device that is always on sale, always coming with games and coming with Fortnite bucks.
And honestly, it's almost the same price as what I got my One S for.
Yeah, legit.
However many years ago. I mean, not that long ago.
Completely agree. It is a fantastic device for a second room. If you have a guest room, or if you have if your main gaming room is where you have your Series X, and you have if you can't afford a PlayStation Portal, you could get the Series X for probably about the same price this holiday season, and have that in the other room and be just as, it's about the same size too. Actually, the Series S might be smaller than the Portal width-wise, which is wild to think. But it's finally coming. It is. It's always insanity. Did you miss the Switch 2 rumors? No, we already talked about the PlayStation Portal.
Jesus Christ.
There is no Switch 2 rumors this week. There's none this week. But there is.
I mean, there are, but
there's always
not from us.
Not from us. We've heard things. We've heard a lot, but nothing that's worth sharing. There is one more. Speaking of games of the year, and this is okay. We've all played Zelda, right?
I've heard.
I'm sorry, who?
Yeah, exactly. Well, a game that's coming to that same platform. I mean, Zelda is a Game of the Year contender, but also so is Logiart Grimoire for the Switch and PC, baby. Check it out.
Fresh off the presses.
Fresh off the presses. Let's see if I can get this sucker going. This, my friends, is unreal. This is a P-Cross. Roguelike P-Cross, is that probably the best way to say it? Dude,
you already got me.
From Jupiter, so
it looks
it's
like
the legit.
It looks like Vivi from Final Fantasy IX. I mean, from Jupiter.
It's actually almost weird to see Jupiter make a game. Yeah, I mean, not that like Picross isn't a game, because but there are other things happening in it, and it makes me almost a little uncomfortable, because I'm used to just, here's Picross, pick menu.
Yeah.
And then there's a character, and I'm like, what? Oh, okay. What are you doing now, Jupiter? You guys are crazy.
No, this is fantastic. I am. We are way too excited for this. Launches in early access in September 12th, and then potentially, totally, potentially later this year. They haven't given a date yet for when it's coming full release, but I'm gonna guess it's probably sometime towards the end of the year. I wouldn't be surprised, and that would squeak in for a game of the year. But yeah, everybody knows we're a P-Cross lover here.
This is a
P-Cross
look how
big that board is. Yo, how big was that board?
So awesome.
How big was that board?
Yeah. Look at this.
Oh my god.
It is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. There's at least 40 across the top.
Whoa.
Hell yeah, guys.
Dude,
we did it. We're going to be gone for years. It's so good. Yeah, we're excited. Thank you.
Wait, man.
Thank you. I've never been more excited. Like, forget Starfield, forget Baldur's Gate, forget Zelda, forget Mario.
This
is it, man.
This is genuine excitement from me. Like, it's like I palpably excited for this stupid Picross game, and I'm.
Yep.
I can't wait.
It's so good.
It's all my Steam Deck is going to be at this point.
Yeah, good. Yeah, I'm gonna go blind staring at these little squares.
September 12th.
You need to play it. Yeah. Yeah, this is
forget it. I'm not buying Starfield. Sorry, guys.
Forget Starfield.
I'm not doing it. It's not worth it.
To do a 40x40, you need that on the big TV. Too,
you do. That's got to be full size.
I'll use the zoom function. Don't doubt me.
Oh, that's true.
All right, so let me shut off the sound here. It is review time. We have a few games that we've been playing for review. Before we get into that, I have something to show. I got to hide my camera first.
Oh, spicy!
So bear with me.
ASMR, nice.
Okay, I'm walking back. Okay, you guys can hear me. All right, got this thing all set up here. Some ASMR for you guys. Okay, it's almost ready. Wait for it.
I'm waiting.
Tell me what this sounds like.
I think I know what it is.
That was
I'm pretty
not
sure
me.
I know what it is.
That was not me unzipping anything.
Are you sure?
Y'all know I went to.
I know what it is.
What's in the box? Yeah. Is it food? Well, it is delicious. Y'all know I went to the Xbox Fan Fest as a part of the game. I have no idea how I got into summer game, the Xbox Fan Fest during Summer Game Fest. I literally put my name in, and they drew my name out of a hat, not related to the industry, which was great. I just kind of managed to get over there. Well, as we're walking into the Fan Fest, they hand out these little cards that said you get a Starfield bomber jacket. Well, guess what came in the mail? My Starfield bomber jacket. Look at this. Look, forget you. Why are you on it? Look at this guy. Starfield bomber jacket. Flight
really playing it fast and loose with what a bomber jacket is.
It really is. It's like a very vinyl-ish
it's like you're like a wrestler in the 80s.
Exactly. Get the cool patch on.
Okay, JJ, I know you know more things than just wrestlers in the 80s. You can find something else, please.
A really nice zipper. Yeah, it really is more like a windbreaker. It's kind of short. It like
I mean, bomber jackets usually are. I mean, listen, the cut is not what's wrong with it being a bomber jacket.
Look at the back.
I like that. I do want to point out. Can you please? Yeah, let's start.
Ready for the best part?
Please put your. Please. Oh yeah.
Please put what?
Put the name part into the field of view again.
My name or the Starfield in the back?
Because that is just a Marlboro. Yeah, your name, the Dalibor.
Yeah.
Put that in. That is just the Marlboro logo.
I like it, Dalibor.
Yeah.
Dalibor.
No, this is cool.
The Marlboro logo. So.
Of course. God damn it, every time. The inside, the liner has a cool star.
The liner's
good.
Part of that jacket.
The liner is good. Yes, this is cheaply made. But granted, it's probably a $50+ jacket. I'm gonna guess.
I was gonna say,
Listen,
like, it's cheap, but like, is it that cheap? It's not that cheap.
It's warm.
You know what I
Definitely
mean?
warm. The zippers are. I like the zippers. I like this zipper here is pretty badass. I don't think I'll ever use it, but having a nice
Keep your
sturdy
cigarettes in
zipper.
there.
Is there you go. It's for the patches are patches. But no, I think it's a nice. It's definitely a nice jacket. Will I wear it if I want to? If I want people to point at me, if I was single and I wore this, I would never.
Listen, Dally, you're gonna wear it to when you go and pick up Starfield. You know, the Friday night, Thursday night from GameStop. I know you're gonna go. You can't stop yourself.
I should show up there. And
I get it.
I'm Mr. Starfield.
I do have one important request, and that's that you wear it at least one day at PAX.
At PAX next year, yeah, for sure. Totally.
Listen, if JJ can wear that one jacket that he wears all PAX East long,
my cami jacket,
you can. Yeah. JJ wears his cami jacket. Dally, you can wear your Starfield jacket. PAX is the one place where people will actually think you're cool, so you might as well do it.
That's actually not a bad idea. Yeah, see that. Looking back now, I'm like, as it came, so I'm still paying off PAX, and as this sucker came in, I'm like, you know, I could probably sell this jacket for a good chunk because stuff from the Xbox game, the Fan Fest, was like little patches and stickers were going for like $10 for a set of like 2 little vinyl stickers. I'm like, I could probably sell this thing for $100, $150. I was all excited. I'm like, I'm gonna sell this thing. I look at it, I'm like, it looks great, everything's perfect, and then I'm like, my fucking name's on there. Unless there's a Dalibor out there that wants this jacket, it ain't gonna sell. So sorry. I guess I'm stuck with it. But
you got to think about what about the young JJ? What about the young Dallies out there that are like, if only I could have had this jacket, and now they never will.
So check it out. It's got the.
If you're lucky, there's going to be like an NPC in the game named that, and you'll be able to.
No shot.
You could put anything on here. I could have put anything on there, and I should have wrote like doctor or commander or something like dumbass, right?
Dick.
Dalib, my name.
Dick.
Dick. But anyways, that was my show and tell.
Dick and balls.
Dick and balls. Taylor, brother, man, it's been a while for you. What have you been playing, dude? Bro.
All right. What do I got? I've been playing. My daughter doesn't sleep at night anymore. What's up, boys?
I know that
one. Let's see. What have I actually been playing? All right. So right before my daughter went into her sleep regression, I got a code for a cool game called Viewfinder, which has long since come out, and many people have already given it a review that it probably deserves. But they're not me, and I'm here now.
Talk about this.
So, Viewfinder follows in a space of what a few games have done recently. Taking a place where you can augment a puzzle world and kind of have it's mostly a puzzle game, really, more than anything else. Although I didn't do I have not gotten the Polaroid camera to do cool shit like that yet. And so maybe, like I said, this is my first impressions because I've probably played it for about 4 hours, I will say. And maybe even less than that, because those 4 hours, 4 disjointed hours when you're dealing with a child is like an hour and a half if I was 10 years younger. So take it for what it's worth. But that being said, all this cool shit that you're seeing right here, I haven't gotten to it yet. But yeah, I mean, so it has a narrative to it. And if anything, the narrative has felt kind of weak by comparison. It's like, who put this kind of weird narrative in my puzzle game? And so the overarching story is that, like, we're post-apocalyptic. the Earth is dying. It's a barren hellscape, and what you're playing in is a simulation world that people were building as the world was dying. And it was meant to be a paradise, and you're like, the people that built that are already gone, and you're trying to kind of go back in and figure out if there was something that they found working in this simulation world kind of thing. And you're like, okay, that was cool, but now I'm going to do puzzles. And so, I haven't quite hit the meeting point of where that becomes really, really cool. However, literally watching this trailer again, because I did watch this like a moon ago, and I'm kind of like, all right, maybe this is going to pick it back up. It's a slow start, I guess, is where I'm going with it. But the puzzles are all good. It's just that, like, it almost feels like if it was just presented to me as a puzzle game instead of what it's felt like so far, it might be a little different. Because a lot of the first 2-3 areas are pretty straightforward and simplistic in what it does. So, but that being said, very atmospheric, which I'm a big fan of. Feels really good to play. Visuals are pop really well, and are a lot of fun. It's enjoyable to be in the world.
Is it as smooth as what they're showing here? Because here it's like, it's very smooth motion to go from, in this view to that view to put a picture up.
Yeah, so like what's really cool is the way that the gameplay starts is that you can find pictures in the levels, and then you apply the picture to this kind of view where you take a picture, you apply, and it is like that, which is the coolest part about the whole thing. You take a Polaroid that you just find in the world instead of taking a photo like what they showed in this trailer. So you find a photo, and then you figure out where you have to put it, and then you apply it to the level that you're playing in, and it's instant, and it works flawlessly. The most impressive part about the whole thing, by far.
I think that speed part is what's so important.
Yeah, there is
having
no
to stop and do things kind of takes me out.
So like even that is more of a gap than, like, all of that stuff happens in a second, no questions asked, and it's never failed for me.
Wow, cool. What are you playing this on?
Damn, yeah.
I'm playing this on PC and Steam Deck.
Oh, so how's it function on Steam Deck?
Perfect, 100%. I even turned down the TDP, the wattage for the game, because there's a little bit of overhead. Plays at 60 FPS, no problem. It looks great on the Steam Deck. That was one of the reasons why I was like, I gravitated towards it. So it's staying in my list of things to beat, for sure, because it's just like, it is one of those things where, to its advantage, because it is, it's level based, and the biggest thing is that it doesn't feel like it's supposed to be presented as one. So that's the only drawback, is that it feels like it wasn't designed to be a level based game in some cases, especially considering the narrative that it puts forth. But because it is a level based game, at the end of the day, I can go in, play a puzzle for a quick minute, and then jump back out, and that's okay.
Sure.
There's no broader, expansive thing that I have to get myself involved into and worried about stopping. But yeah, so I mean, it plays with liminal spaces, with liminal views, and that kind of notion of it, and it does a good job. Awesome. So like the first 4 hours, that one photo that we just watched in that trailer, it's not that part that we're seeing right now.
Yeah, sure. The trailer, yeah.
So like where you take a photo and then you draw a bridge, that's most of the first 10 levels or so. Take that concept and apply it to a bunch of different puzzles. Yeah, they throw a photocopier in there, so like you take a photo, and then you have to photocopy it so that you can apply it in multiple places. They do a lot of cool things. And I want to get to the rest of the, like, literally rewatching this trailer. So I'd be like, look at all the other cool stuff. I'm like, yeah, I want to see that cool stuff.
Are there multiple ways to solve some of these areas?
Absolutely. 100%.
Okay.
Like, no doubt. Like, I haven't like, once I figure it out, I don't really have a reason to go back and do it, but you can apply the Polaroids that you can find in the levels. You can apply wherever you want. There is no limitation. Okay. And if you break it, first of all, there's an achievement for, like, you just fucked up and you can't get out of the level now. That's literally an achievement in the game. But
I love it.
Once you, basically every time that you pick up a photo and every time that you apply a photo to the level, it makes a little marker, and then you can rewind to those points.
Oh, cool.
So if you screw yourself out of the solution, you just go bloop, and it just takes you backwards, and you have to, if you picked up an item or something like that, you have to redo that portion of it, but you're not permanently locked out of a solution in any situation. So viewfinder is really good. What else am I going to play? I did character creation in Baldur's Gate 3.
Okay.
With me and 3 buddies are doing a group play, and that's about as far as we got.
I think that's where I started.
We only played one night, so we got to character creation. 2 people. We realized that 2 people rolled druids, and we're like, okay, great job, guys. I'm glad we talked about this, and had to fix that. And somebody had a scheduling conflict last week, so we couldn't do it. Or Picross. I've been doing color Picross on Picross S8.
Nice.
Which I'm very sad to say that there's
one?
No, S9 is the newest one. But I didn't pick that one up.
Why didn't I know this already? What's wrong with me?
You're embarrassing. But S8, there's a surprisingly small amount of color Picross puzzles. Yeah. Like, I'm already almost done with all of them. And, like, do I really have to go back and do Mega Picross again? I don't know. Now that I know that roguelite Picross comes out in like 2 weeks, I'm not gonna do it.
There you go. You're like, I'm done tapping out.
I think I don't know. Did y'all pick up Murder by Numbers a few weeks ago when it was on free on Epic Games Store?
Yes, I did. I got it. Yup.
Okay.
I have to go check. I have to check if I did that.
It's a killer Picross game, pun intended.
All right, I will check it out. The big one that I spent. I just realized that it's been long enough. I've been doing a full playthrough of Remnant 2.
Ooh,
with a couple buddies of mine. So me and 2 friends did Remnant 1 after it went free on Epic Games Store a couple of years ago, and so. I hit him up when Remnant 2 was coming out. We're like, is it time? Time for the run back? And so, so we've been playing that. Played all the way through to, we're at the last boss, which is quite a bit harder than the entire rest of the game. It's not even close. The difficulty disparity is it's just real bad.
Oh boy.
But otherwise, Remnant 2 is a really good game. Definitely stands well above the shoulders of its predecessor of the first game. I don't know. There's nothing really quite like what Remnant does, which is, the spirit of an MMO FPS, kind of like Destiny, except it's a single player or closed loop multiplayer campaign looter shooter. It's kind of old fashioned in some ways, but it's tight in its mechanics of what it expects of the players, and it's fun to play. I think Remnant's a good game.
Awesome.
But so I'm mostly the way through that. And then last night, as we were getting up in the middle of the night, I picked up a idle incremental game called Orb of Creation. Don't need to talk too much about it. if you want to lose your time, play Orb of Creation.
I'm writing that down.
It's only $5. Your time will literally disappear. It's just that easy.
Steam.
Nice. For me. Plays on Steam Deck.
So I like to hear. That's the sound to move on to JJ.
Oh boy.
I'm gonna have you start with this one first. And that is Fort
Night.
I want to hear you pronounce what you think the title of this game is.
Solace.
There you go. You probably read the headline to my review.
Not at all. Nope.
Oh, how dare you? I'm sure you haven't even looked at it.
I ain't touching it.
Yeah, Fort Solace.
Turn off the subtitles here.
I saw this at PAX East. They had like a behind the facade closed room demo of this. And when I saw it then, I thought, I don't know what this game is. Because the demo was just you as Jack Leary is the main protagonist's name, who is voiced by Roger Clark. As you would know from Red Dead Redemption 2. And it just didn't really do anything. You just kind of, it was all mood setting. And yeah, it takes place on Mars, Playland. So both games that I'm going to talk about today that I've been doing a review
take place on Mars.
No, they kind of follow a similar idea of what is a video game. What can you call a video game? Because Fort Solace barely is a video game.
Really? Okay.
And I don't mean that in an insulting way, really. It is very short. When I did the demo, they said it takes about 4 hours to beat it. That's very true. I think I beat it in under 4 hours, 3 hours and some change. It's cut into 4 chapters. And it is 100% just presented as a mini-series. But it's like a seamless mini-series. Like the chapter will just start off on a sort of like, impactful moment, and then then the title card will come up and say Chapter 3 Into the Darkness or whatever, and it starts off with you and your female engineer coworker on Mars, and you receive a distress beacon or distress call from Fort Solace. You call, no answer. You try to figure that out, and so you're like, all right, I'm gonna go check it out, see what's up. When you get there, Fort Solace is in lockdown, so you have to find your way in. And once you get there, it's empty. Nobody's there. There's very few clues as to what's going on. It's an interesting thing to have this sort of spooky space theme that it's not dilapidated in any way, shape, or form. This was a very active space. I don't even know. It's like a laboratory for the most part. On Mars, and it's clean and everything, but as you go on, it's all environmental storytelling. Every bit of this is environmental storytelling. You're going to computers and reading emails, you're finding files, you're finding clues on the ground, you're finding audio logs, and just the traditional trappings of the kind of game. And that's kind of it. There is, people were like thinking about like Dead Space with this, and it's not. There's no combat. Not the most you get is some QTEs. That's it. But it is strictly storytelling. It's beautiful. It's Unreal Engine 5.
Okay.
I don't have any complaints about it aesthetically. It's very slow. your characters have no hustle in their step. There's no run button or anything. You're just kind of sauntering through this Mars space lab, uncovering what happened, what's going on, where is everybody. And it does have it has multiple endings too. So depending on like the stuff you find and how much of the mystery you figure out, changes some of the ending stuff. But again, it's only like 3.5. It's like 4 to 5 hours if you're a completionist. You want to find every audio log, every poster, everything. But it's I really loved the story. It gripped me. It made me want to finish it in one sitting, which is clearly what the intention is for this game. And I did, and it's hard to complain about this game because it set out to do what it accomplished exactly what it wanted to do. But a lot of people are probably going to hate this game because it's not really a video game at the end of the day. It's just kind of an interactive movie. You just make it. It's a step. It's like a step above an FMV game, like Dragon's Lair or something. Like you're just kind of there for the ride.
Yeah, but I mean, like, you could say the same thing about the vast majority of Telltale games.
Yeah, and that's what, and I love that shit. So like, but yeah, there's very little gameplay that goes on into this. Like I said, there's a handful of QTEs, but like that right there, punching the door down and stuff. Yeah, and it plays it close to the vest on what the mystery is up until the bitter end, which I kind of appreciate. Like, you can piece it together and say, oh, I see what was going on up here now, but you don't get confirmation until literally like the last, like final chapter, last moments of the game. So I kind of appreciate that. It's short, it's cheap, it's fun. I
just like me.
Yeah. I said fun.
Short and cheap. That sounds right.
So yeah, this is good. I played it on PS5, by the way.
Okay.
So yeah, so I think I haven't played very many Unreal Engine 5 games, so it's kind of nice to just sit down and like really get the.
It's been a rough transition for a lot of games, so
right.
I'm not terribly.
And this is a brand new studio. This is their first release. So Fallen Leaf, I think they're called. So yeah, they did a great job for what it is, and they built this game. Every bit of advertising for this game was built around the voice cast.
Yeah.
And I mean, they delivered. I mean, Troy Baker's character is great. Roger Clark's character is great. I forget who the woman actress's name is, but she's like a Scottish actress. She's not a VO person. So and she was great. She in particular was great. So I recommend it if that's the kind of thing that you can appreciate. I recommend it.
Now I have a feeling you're going to recommend this.
The next one. I think I could actually. Let's.
Do you have something?
No, I might be able to like. Bring it up. Let's just share that screen there.
Okay.
Right.
All right.
Okay. So yeah.
There you go. Ooh, there you go.
Oh, there we go. I'm not gonna play the game, but I think.
What game is
show? It is the Making of Karateka.
Karateka?
Listen, I will show you one of the things right now when you go to the very end, chapter 5, I do believe it is. Or was it chapter 4? They have a whole video about how to pronounce the game.
Amazing.
And it actually is whatever. Mechner says that some people call it Karateka, some people call it Karateka. In Japan, there would be no emphasis on anything. So it'd be like like karateka, but just like it's like
Mm-hmm.
karate, you know, it's like
Mm-hmm.
that kind of thing. So yeah, there's a whole thing in there on this. So yeah, the Making of Karateka is Digital Eclipse's first game in a brand new series that they're doing. About it's hyper focused on like a specific game, and so I don't know how familiar are you guys with this game to begin with.
I've played it back in the day,
Okay,
way back in
what
the
did
day.
you play it on?
Oh God, was it Commodore? I don't remember what it was.
Okay.
Probably something like that. Yeah.
So for anybody that doesn't know, karateka or karateka, whatever, um, is the precursor to Prince of Persia. Um, Jordan Mechner uh, was hungry to make video games.
Speaking of hungry,
Yeah,
Taylor is
jeez, man.
chomping away.
ASMR right here.
You are welcome.
Yeah. So, anyways, yeah, this is the precursor to not only Prince of Persia, but to what video games would become in the future.
Mm-hmm.
Because this game was notable for being plotted like a movie, scored like a movie, and like having rotoscoping as its sort of animation function, which was all at the time sort of next level shit for a video game. And Dally, you've been playing it. I know the Atari
Yeah, I
50
cleared it.
set. And it's,
So
as you can see from here, it sort of follows the same format of that. You have different chapters depending on what era you want to look at. So chapter 1 starts off with like, it takes a while till you actually get to a game you can play if you follow the storyline mode here. But it takes you to like from the beginning of Mechner as a kid. You know, there's his Apple II. Here's him programming games. Here's him and his dad talking about asteroids. So what got Mechner into making games is that he loved asteroids and said, I can make asteroids. All I need is a computer. And his dad gets a computer for him, and he starts working on games. And you can see here's him plotting out the visuals for asteroids and him trying to sell the game. So you get a little bit of everything in this. What you'll see, here's a floppy disk for Asteroid Blaster. So you can play or watch. I'll just have it play for a second here. And so you can actually play through, as you can see here, this is his first game. This is him making asteroids on an Apple II. And this is fully playable in the collection.
That is so cool.
And he tries selling it to Broderbund, obviously, because that's you get your typical filters. You get full wide TV on or off. You can also go through different color palettes if you want monochrome and green, amber, white, full color. And the border is just like what computer it's being run on. Yes, I want to quit. So it goes through the entire leading up to first chapters. Here's Star Blaster, which is like Broderbund told him to do some different stuff. Death Bounce was like his first real game. This was him trying to create a game that a company wanted him to make. They saw how good he was at making the asteroids game, but they knew they couldn't do asteroids and they needed to create something unique. So he ends up making this. And you get to watch, this is the first prototype of it. And you get to watch this develop through all of his
so you get to play so it's like playing his developmental history
and the thing
it gets to Karateka.
And the thing that's cool about this is that Mechner, why it works so well for Karateka, is that Mechner kept sort of extensive journals and stuff too.
That's
like
cool.
You could buy his journal for this. So like here's the letter he wrote to Broderbund about it, and here's Broderbund replying back to him about like oh, hey, good job. Here's some things we which want to change. And like, it's just filled, absolutely filled
So
with
cool.
the entire history of like, see, here's his journal right here. This is him deciding what game he wants to make next.
I love it. Love it.
Yeah. And also Deathbounds, which is the game that he never finished.
Mhm.
Digital Clips made a finished version of Deathbounds that you can play.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Awesome.
So this is like it, so they made it like a
cool.
twin stick shooter, and it's there. You go to the second chapter, and this is where you start to see it's starting to evolve, the karate game, and you see his journals and stuff, dev plan and
That
animations
is so
and
cool.
stuff. Yeah, it is so in depth. I'm trying to find the one thing that really I thought was absolutely insane. Oh, and he's got a graphic novel coming out that they tease every once in a while. That's sort of the history of him making games. So look out for that.
Okay.
Here's the Versa writer that he would use to draw the sprites in the fucking game, draw them by hand and get them digitized into his Apple II. I think it's the. Oh, is this it? No, that's not it.
So there are.
Oh, here we go. Okay. So here you go. See, it's showing that he took footage of his dad wearing his mom's karate gi. And I mean, you can actually turn up and down. Here's the pencil.
Oh, that is awesome.
Yeah. Here's the video footage, and you can change the transparency and watch the whole thing, or you can just shut off the transparency and sort of turn it on and off as you go. It is just so. Is this one? No, that's not it. It's oh, here you go. See, you can turn rough sprite layer, the sketch layer, so you can turn the sketch layer off and crank up the sprites, or you could just have it be all sprites and sketch layer.
Oh my lord!
It is, and here's everything. Here's your final sprite overlaid with the sketches. You know, it's the
so thorough.
The amount of thoroughness that is in this. And keep in mind, Francis Mechner is his dad, and his dad is the one that composed the music for the game. And it's funny. It's fun to have them talk about what it was like composing, because he was a piano player and would give like, oh no, you need to put it up like, you know, half a step or what. It's like, Dad, it is a, you know, an 8-bit computer. I can't, there's no pitch modulation. I can't do anything. You're going to have to decide, do you want this beep, or this beep? And just having them do that. His dad's absolutely fantastic in this. He's just a charming man, and they interview him all the time.
Awesome.
Yeah. And they have special guests in here. They have the founders of Broderbund, Tobias, Mortal Kombat, talks about it a lot in here. Gary Whitta talks a bit in here. They talk about sort of the importance of having it be a orchestrated game, plotted like a movie, and that they even say, like, the Broderbund people are like, it's easy to see it now, but Jordan just wanted creative control, but he didn't mind giving the power up to people. He realized it was a team that would make something like this, which is how games are made now, but back then they just simply weren't. So yeah, here's all the press release. Hey, there's a Commodore 64 right there. Look at that.
That's the one. That's it.
It's beautiful. And yeah, it shows different versions of it and how different ports. You can't play all of them. I'll take you to the game library. So at the end of the day, you get the Apple II version, you get the Commodore 64 version, and you get the Atari 8-bit version, which is sort of the holy trinity of these. There are dozens of other ports, but this is it. Mike, Micah or Mika?
Mika.
Digital Eclipse. I can never Mike Mika. He made this version of Karateka. This is a remastered version of Karateka. Another cool thing that's cool about this one,
HD2D, baby. All right.
Yeah, another thing that's cool about this one is oh damn it, I fucked it up. It has commentary.
Oh, sweet.
So you can commentary on. So you can play this with Mike's commentary of making this and how he made it.
Amazing.
And everything. And there's the Death Bounce remastered. Here's the first prototype of Death Bounce. Blah blah.
So it's
blah,
got all the prototypes. It's got God, that's amazing. This is
you get the original prototype of Karateka, the Apple II prototypes, and Star Blaster, which obviously was the other games that he was working on. But there was another really crazy thing in here that I never expected to see. I think it's towards the end here. There's the Amstrad version, which I absolutely do not remember. I just want to show one thing.
Sure.
It must be the next one over. Must be the one that's called 2. Because there was going to be a sequel, but it just ended up going into becoming Prince of Persia at the end.
freaking love the journals. I love the...
Yeah.
I love just those little scribble notes. You can flip through all of these, and the layout is great because it's all set up as like a timeline. It's
a timeline. It goes from A to B. Like you got like a 5-page design document for what he thought Karateka 2's. There's the Xbox Live Arcade one.
Oh yeah,
and it does of course end.
You can't play that, can you?
No. It does end on a cliffhanger leading into Prince of Persia, but that's another story.
That's that's going to be a great one.
Yeah.
What's
I couldn't find it. They actually had an interesting thing in here that's super goofy. It has a fan film in here.
Oh, that's neat.
Based on
well, you don't have to
anyways, but yeah, it is so...
It's so thorough. It is. This is so we when I last week I talked about Atari 50 because I loved it so much from being a sort of they called this, I think this is the Gold Master series or whatever they're calling this thing.
Yeah.
It's educational, right? It's basically saying here is like the Atari 50 stuff was great because here's the history of Atari, and you could hand that to students who are studying things, who are studying game design, who are studying art design, like the stuff that I went into, and say, play this, and I'll quiz you. But there's design documents in there, there's posters, there's games. And this is the same way. This is definitely hyper focusing on one game, but I love that because for preservation purposes, it's awesome. You actually get this game.
It's
every version that's
it's the most anyone's ever done for like a commercial preservation of a game, because they really went above and beyond to share a lot of stuff in this. Like here it is right here. This is the Karateka 2 Wrath of the Dude, which is just it's like when you think of it, like this is like machinima. This is a fan film made out of Karateka 2 where they overdid everything.
So cool.
Like, he is going to like everything's super over the top for this. And it's got a story that they're telling. And not only that, but if you notice in my little progress bar here, there is a commentary feature. It has the person that did this. It had their commentary. It's fascinating, man. This package is absolutely perfect. I if we had a grading scale, I would give it a perfect score. Like it's you can't do better than this. Nobody's ever like this. The best they've gotten is the Atari 50 collection, and this surpasses it in every way.
You think so? Oh, just in the way that they present it, and like it's contiguous, and here's here's the step.
Here's the major problem I have with a lot of like the Atari collection and everything is at the end of the day, it is only preserving the positive history because they're really just giving you the best examples of what.
Here's everything that we did right that led to the Atari that because it's the one that we chose. As opposed to this.
Yeah, it's always going to be missing something. There's no matter what kind of collection you do, it's all the Rare Replay collection obviously has a great collection of games, but it's missing like half of their output because it's either Nintendo or licensed.
Sure.
You know, one could argue that the Atari 50th collection is missing two of the most important games on the Atari 2600 of all time in E.T. and Pac-Man.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and there's a reason why they're not there for various reasons. A, they're terrible and they're negative history, but they're history nonetheless.
Yep.
And they're licensed, like, you know, for the most part, like, you know, so I get it, but like this is one specific game, and not everything in this is positive. Those prototypes are varying degrees of bad because they're early stages of games and stuff, but you get to watch the game progress. Hell, even Karateka itself as a 2023 game doesn't play well. It's very slow and cumbersome and stilted and goofy. But because of its importance to video games, this game created what video games become. It is a narrative based story with music. I mean, like this game's 1984, like, or 1983. Sure. I can't remember.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. It's
how cool.
I think hyper focusing in on it is just super cool. I can't wait to see what like the next one is. And I hope it is just one game as well, because I think once you start adding, like if you did one for like Mega Man,
pick some of them,
and you
pick some of the most influential games that have ever been made, and
try to get the license companies to let. You're right. Yeah.
I mean, you know, but there are plenty of them that exist out there that are, you know, comparatively as unknown as Karateka is, because let's be honest, to probably the vast majority of modern day game players, this is, and find, you know, those types of games and focus in on those. You know, I mean, I guess Digital Extreme is still the license holder of
Eclipse,
Digital Eclipse is still the license holder of Karateka, right? I'm assuming.
I think Mechner might actually hold.
Oh, really? Okay.
Like it's just his thing, and they're just working with him. So,
well, yeah, I mean that certainly makes it easier. I mean, the question is that like, you know, but by the same token, a game like do this for Pitfall. You know, that kind of, but like it's those kind of games, those first ones, that change the way. God, imagine this, but for Rogue.
Dude,
right?
Oh my god!
You know what I mean?
Like,
you know,
to be fair, that's completely like in the realm of reality, and a lot of
it is. If the information's out there,
I could see, like some of the early point and click adventure games being one that I think
great.
Monkey Island, the first game, I think one Sierra games, not in that same vein, but the old Ultima, the first Ultima,
dude,
that one would be an incredible version, or an incredible sort of thing to follow. You know, Maniac Mansion or something like that would be fun.
Oh gosh! Man! Oh, dude, that would be Maniac Mansion, and you know, the sequels and the spin-offs and all that kind of stuff. You know, Day of the Tentacle, which is somehow became bigger.
But like.
But
like the reason why I think like something
and
like
the TV
Ultima,
series,
I think like the reason why something like Ultima would work so well, because you don't need the rest of them, because I mean it's such a big franchise that to show where it came from in a comprehensive way with whatever thing, because like, you know, Ultima went on and just did its own thing. It sort of brought people into that genre of game. So I'm sure there's a lot of data. I mean, like, you have to have an old-timey veteran of the gaming that kept track of everything they did. And it seems like a lot of guys did. Yeah. It seemed like a lot of the early pioneers of gaming sort of kept their floppies and shit around and design documents and stuff.
I have all the old games that I designed somewhere. I gotta find them. Actually, I don't have them anymore. I don't think I do.
So I'm excited to see what the next game is. This is on the short list of like my favorite game of the year.
It's only $20 too, which is just a killer deal.
Perfect. It's funny because like, You're not going to get a lot of playtime out of this game, but you are just going to get it's a coffee table book on your computer.
It's a great way to put it.
That's good. Yeah, very good way to put
it. And you can just go back to it and flip through it and watch some of the footage and see some of the sprite work and its pencil work and the music, and it's just perfect. I love
that is such a selling. Gosh, like I could see, this is like a Barnes and Noble thing. Like you could sell, I part of me also wishes like you literally have like a self-sufficient device that is just the Karateka device, like a small, like an LCD, like the $50 Nintendo little devices that they sent out, the Game and Watch. Make one of just Karateka with this on it and sell that. But yeah, no, this is, again, it's a history thing that Digital Eclipse has now, like, they've been doing it over the years, but man, have they perfected it right now. They've like totally perfected it.
It's not even like the bar is set anymore. Like nothing, if you're not doing this, then you're just a screen filter isn't enough anymore now, really. Like, so I just glow about this game. I love it.
Their most recent, like, from 2020 onward, actually 2018 onward, because they did the remember they did the Mega Man Legacy Collection, they did the Disney Afternoon Collection, which are really cool.
Collection. Yeah, they did I think they did the
Street Fighter. That to me, once I got my hands on that Street Fighter 30th Anniversary Collection and played through that, I thought, wow, this is really great for game preservation, because it was more than just the games. There were actually like some sketches and like some stuff you can unlock and everything. They did the SNK 40th, which was really cool. And then from that point on, it's like they did the Blizzard one. They did they actually did a Disney Classic Games collection.
Yes.
Which people don't even they did the TMNT one last year, which was like that set the bar. They did the TMNT and the Atari 50 in the same
year,
like 3 months.
Yeah,
and those are pretty amazing. So keep it going. Awesome, very cool, very cool. Well, speaking of awesome, speaking of very cool, it's been an hour and 22 minutes. You guys are awesome, but you guys are also making me tired because I am done talking and listening. It's about time for me to hit the hay, gents. It's been a lot of fun. JJ, Taylor, you guys are awesome. Thank you to all our listeners and our viewers. We had a few folks out there chiming in. You can find us.
I'll be at PAX this week.
You'll be at PAX. That's right.
It's Friday.
Did you manage to pick up the awards by any chance yet, or no?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Hopefully they came out okay and printed out fine. We have our Team Choice Awards, which are pretty fabulous design. JJ had an awesome design that he told me to make, and I think it turned out. But yeah, you can find us at PAX.
Taylor has seen it, and he laughs because he can tell 100% that Dally followed my advice to the heart. For these awards
a little too strongly.
If you are heading to PAX, make sure you check out the PAX West 2023 party list. That is blowing up the site as usual. All the links are on there. More events this year than last year, so that's a cool thing. And you get our friends the McElroys are hosting a couple events, and there are a lot of things to do. There are a lot of industry only things. There are a lot of public things. There's a lot of indie stuff. Definitely, if you get a chance, check out the Mix, which is taking place on, I think, Friday. The Friday, the Mix. If you're in Seattle, do check that out. But yeah, the party list, sidequesting.com. Find us in the SideQuesting Discord, because that is always the place to be. Thank you, Playland, for watching. You can find us in the Discord. You can find us on whatever social network. Just look for us. I'm Dolly Domovsky. That's Taylor Bliss. That's JJ. And we are some of the folks that brought you SideQuesting tonight. Take care. We love you. Thank you.